back to the show. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to the About Redlands radio show. We're talking about all things Redlands, California. And today, for one of my local business highlights, I'm talking to, or will be talking to, Nicole Kahn, who is a Redlands photographer extraordinaire. Welcome to the show, Nicole.
Thanks for having me.
How do you like that title?
I think it's a very prestigious title.
I know. You can start using it. I'll allow you to start using it. No.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It'll be on my website very shortly.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right. Well, okay. So let's jump right into it. I'm curious to know what sparks your passion for photography.
You know, I have always loved taking pictures. I took photography classes in high school. But when I met my husband, I think that's really when I started really feeling the need or the importance to document our lives. He lost his mom when he was a young kid to breast cancer. And when we look back on his childhood, we have maybe 5 photos, a couple of her and a couple of him. I did not want I did not want my children to not have, photographic roots, I wanted them.
Right. Mm-hmm. Oh, that makes total sense. I just want to remind people, or not remind them, those that are watching us online are actually seeing some of Nicole's work, and we'll make sure to put your website address up as well and post that so they can see more of kind of what you're talking about.
Awesome.
And so what type of photography then do you shoot?
I shoot kind of the documentary lifestyle photography. I try really hard to capture life as it's happening versus really posed perfect images. I like the beautiful, messy part of life because I think that's what our lives are mostly about, all those in-between moments.
Now, I am curious about that. I love that idea because when you, you go and get your hair done and your makeup and you're wearing something that you normally would never wear, like you look so much better than you do every day, I wonder, is it hard for people to get that in their heads to just kind of be real and like you say, messy in a sense?
It is. It really is. I think society says we need to portray perfection. Mm-hmm. And so we do that, we go and we make this, mock, perfection image, where our hair is perfect and all these things are perfect. But when you look at those images, I don't think that says much about who those people are. I don't think it says about, much about who they are in real life and what their families are like and the dynamics, that go on. They're beautiful images. They're gorgeous, but, I think pretty pictures are kind of a dime a dozen, but your real life, temper tantrums and, sweet, reading books, but that's really, that's part of our lives. It really is, maybe your child really does that a lot and it's, that's part of that's part of your life.
Well, I really love the concept. I mean, I think that it makes so much sense to really get away from those airbrushed, you see such perfection. And I know our young people, particularly our young girls, are growing up with just this idea that they're, that airbrushed is the way they're supposed to look. And that's not real.
It's not real.
Yeah, no. And I love that. So then tell me, what do you refer to in between moments? So tell me about that.
We usually, I think we hire photographers for events, big moments in our lives, births and weddings and birthday parties. And I think that's one day out of 365 days a year. And I think it's those other 364 that kind of connect the dots and really solidify and create our stories. And I think those moments, like when we're in them, we say we'll remember them. We'll remember that this was my favorite T-shirt that I used to love to wear every day.
Yeah.
But 10 years go by, you don't remember that stuff. You
don't remember that stuff. And in fact, it's so interesting because you could be so passionate about something and you just swear you're going to remember it. I mean, there's just no way you're not going to, but you forget, as time goes on. Yeah.
Yeah, you do. There's only so much room in your brain, I think, to hang on to all of that. And I think having photographs of that help you, travel back and remind yourself.
Right. Well, I guess then probably my other question is, so then why are printing images important as opposed to leaving them like in a digital format only in all ways?
I think we get those digital images and we share them on social media, which is awesome. And I remember when we didn't have that option. So it's awesome that we have that. But then they go in a drawer and we never look at them again. And those are our lives, And so I think printing those pictures and having them on the wall, they're conversation pieces. It helps connect us to our people. But it also gives us another archival option. If those digital images were to disappear, we have prints of that. We have something tangible, to touch and feel and look at. And I think that's important.
Yeah, my parents would agree. In fact, the beauty of, digital has been really nice for sharing, with family members that you don't often see. They can at least kind of be a part of your life. But, I know I've gotten really bad about not printing. And boy, do I hear it from my mom. And I know. So I've started doing that. And, my house is plastered with pictures. And I do find when people come over and they don't really know you well, they walk around and they look. And it really does tell this story about you and your family, which I think that I like to hear that that's important to you,
No, it's so important. My clients, none of the people that I work for leave without prints. Everybody leaves with prints because I think it's that important. So they get digital stuff, but they also get prints because I think it's important. I think sometimes we run out of time and I'll get to it later. So I make sure everybody leaves with prints because I think it's that important. So
yeah, I know, I agree. Now then, why do you shoot in black and white and color equally? Because typically, a photographer will have sort of one over the other.
I love color images. I mean, I shoot in both because I love color images, but sometimes I find that when you look at a color image and it's just got all this emotion, you get distracted by the color. And if you've got a black and white image, all you see is that emotion and that really intense connection that maybe is going on in that image. And I find that it helps you it connects with that memory again. A little bit deeper versus all the distractions of the color and that kind of thing. And I think that's for me, that's kind of where I end up.
Got you. Well, that makes sense. So then tell me a little bit about your lifestyle documentary sessions, because I've never, experienced that.
So they're usually about 4 hours long, and my clients invite me into their home, and it's a little awkward at the beginning because there's this strange person with the camera kind of in their faces all the time. But after about a half hour, 45 minutes, it's like I'm not there, kind of a fly on the wall, and I get to experience, bedtime routines and cooking dinner together. And, reading books together and taking walks and, baths and all these things that families do together that they, like I said, they swear they'll remember, but it gets lost. Right. It gets lost.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually really love that idea because, the things you do, like the cooking, the dinner, the taking the baths, you just don't, how are you going to take a selfie of, you know what I'm saying?
And that's the thing about selfies is they're awesome, but you have to actually stop a moment and look at the camera, and that's not really what you're doing.
Right, so then it's not real and authentic really because now it's staged. Yeah.
It's totally staged. And that's kind of I want people to really think, it's great to have that moment, our phones are good for that, but it's not really the moment because you stopped it, you looked, it's totally staged. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, that totally makes sense. So then tell me what your most famous sessions are to shoot and why.
I love births more than anything on this planet. I love photographing births. They are by far, I think, the hardest sessions that I do. They're very time consuming. Sometimes I'm there days. But they are the most rewarding for me and for the clients. And I think they're the most raw. People are really into, they're working hard, they're together. It's a very intimate time, and they're just the most raw, authentic memories that I have given to clients, and I feel honored that I can do that for them.
Oh, yeah. And in fact, I've seen some of your birth shots. They're incredible. Absolutely. They're so real and just, I don't know. For me, it would be so emotional. Do you get emotional as you're shooting, or are you there professionally and you can separate the two?
I have to separate the two. I have to. I kind of have to be a fly on the wall to not interfere with the birth process.
Okay.
You have to really separate the two. I have gone outside and had a little cry and then come back inside because sometimes it's very emotional. But they don't know that I'm having those moments. I would never let my clients know that I'm having
that
those
wouldn't
moments.
probably go over well. Right.
No, it's about them, you know.
Yeah. So
it's
then
about
personal
them,
projects for 2017.
My big thing is to get into the frame with my daughter and my sons more often. I think as a photographer and as a mom, we tend to not be in images with our kids because we don't look perfect, or you know what I mean. I want my kids to know that 90% of the time I've got yoga pants on and my hair in a ponytail because that's who they remember me as. You know what I mean? It's not that staged against photo. And so my goal is to get, into a frame with my kids at least twice a month, which seems like not a lot, but when it's never, it's a lot.
Well, it is when you're behind the camera all the time,
Yeah.
I'm going to hold you to that because I get to see your images. So I'm going to call you out. All right?
Okay. Sounds good. I might need that.
Well, one of my favorite images that you actually just took of your daughter in the rain. I love those.
And her dressing herself, she's just all her in her own outfit out with her looking at, catching raindrops in her mouth. Yeah.
It was absolutely beautiful. Well, Nicole, thank you so very much. How can people get a hold of you?
You know what? I'm on Instagram and I'm on Facebook, probably equally. My website is NicoleKahnPhotography.com, and same thing with Instagram and Facebook. Those are both good options.
Okay, and obviously, too, they can go to About Redlands and just put in your name or a photographer, and you'll pop right up. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very much.
Thanks for having me.